And I believe in shalom, 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 everyone. I want to welcome everyone to King James Bible University Precept Mastery. And today we're going to be going through the book of Romans. And I want to make sure a couple of things that if you have questions or anything else, let's start trying to come on the Zoom side because sometimes when some people is typing in here, on the YouTube side, sometimes I can misconstrue the way that you're saying it, or sometimes you might be saying something and might have said it and then you didn't mean to say it in a certain way to where I still misunderstand it. So let's when we have questions, either be pretty concise or let's start trying to come to the Zoom side because there, you can put your hand up, I can pull you right up and you can verbally tell me exactly, the question or a comment or something you're trying to get more clarification on. So that's one thing. Number two, actually let you know, this one is now, let me see, right now we have this one. This is actually up to where we can actually go through, and that's the weekly Israelite scripture. Right now, we have close to about 100 of them that came in yesterday, and we have probably about 40, maybe about 40 of them that is still untied to anyone. So if you want to, you can actually send it to Precept Mastery, and you can pay the $12 there and you actually get free shipping, or you can still, if you decide you want to go through Lulu, you can do that also. So it depends on you on the way you want to do it. So with that, we're going to get ready. We're going to get started. We're going to go through a few things that actually is very interesting today because we tearing through these scriptures and we're going through them in a great deal to understand exactly what Paul was saying. We have to understand what Paul is saying. To understand what Paul's saying, we have to tear down a lot of stuff. And we have to tear down his wording and everything else to get a clear picture on what he was actually trying to tell the people who he went to, because he was he called himself an apostle to the Gentiles, but he called himself an apostle, meaning a messenger, but he was doing this. And the same thing is to the Gentiles. He was going to Israelites who was acting like Gentiles because we just came out of the Greek captivity. So we're gonna look at this. And the same thing, if some people, you want to get the digital book of Romans, we actually had a link in there now because a lot of people always ask about the link. We had a link for the Romans for the digital, and we had a link for the Romans with the regular workbook. It's all in there to where we put it in below the way you can get to it now. So hopefully that'll help you out a great deal. But let's get over to what we actually over here for. We actually over here to put in some work on on Romans. So we have to go through it. We're going to be looking over there. So let me put this, let me sit there. I need to move this over just a little bit. There we go. And let me go through it. And we doing on two. And we over here right now. So where we left off at? We left off at verse 14, but we still have a couple of more we have to go up. So never forget, we have to go back where we started to still get a few things done. Today, we have to look at a couple of other parts as we go down, and we're going to define some stuff a little bit more, because what we're going to find out today is we're going to look at the English language as a whole, where I told you we speak a flavor of England. We speak English. It's a flavor of what they actually speak. Meaning what? It makes us see things differently than what they actually are. That's the problem. So we're gonna deal with some of that to understand more what Paul is doing. So when we do that, I just say we're just gonna go on a field trip to where we're gonna look at a dictionary to find out exactly what is being said. Now, what we did, we left off, it says, for when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. So we found out last week it was a whole different ball game to what he was actually saying, because these, they don't have the law. They was never given the law. We have all the verses that's telling you, because even when you look at Psalms, you look at Corinthians, you go through all these pieces that is linked to it, is showing you the law was only given to Jacob, and how to operate within the law that's contained in there. It was only given to Israel, and for anyone else, they have not known them. And he goes on and he explains it. We have people that's sitting there to where they sit there and they look at this and not understand the things that are contained within the law. This is why it's so important to why we're going through Paul, to get the mind of Paul, to where most of us can get the mind of what? Get the mind of the law to where we can understand it. Verse 15, it says, which show the work of the law written in their heart. Now, you see this comma here. So you see right here, this colon here. So he's clarifying what he's saying, are law unto themselves. So if they are law unto themselves, which show work of the law written in their hearts. So keep in mind, if they don't have the law of God, they are law unto themselves, they're going to do the works of what they believe that they're going to, with the laws that they believe in their own heart. This is how Paul talks. When people start pulling things and not understanding what it's saying, we have to get the whole picture on what he's saying all the time. Some people say, well, we got to keep it in context. Yeah, many people say context, and everything is precept, precept, precept. Don't let context fool you. They like to use that as a catchphrase word, and mainly that's coming from a Christian mindset. And that's actually Christian methodology on how they actually understand scripture, because they use exegesis and hermeneutical processes to do that. Context, context, context. That's what they love to say, when it should be precept, precept, precept. That's the difference. So this is in showing works of the law written in their hearts. Their conscience also bearing witness. So the conscience bear witness. How is this conscience going to bear witness? Because their works of the law going to bear witness of by what they do. This is what's going on, and we got to put some precepts there to understand how all this is going to work. And it says, in their thoughts, the meanwhile accusing or excusing one another. So let's take an example. So if they're doing something that they made a law before, they have changed the law around to excuse themselves from that law. Why? Because that's what's written in their hearts. That's what's written in their hearts. This is why it's really important to not run through scripture, but we tear everything down to look at what's going on. So it says here to show the work of the law. What? It's not the work of the law of God. It's not that work that he's talking about. It's the work that's written in their heart. Meaning what? Let's look at this a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper, and we're going to pull this over here. And I want to pull that there to where we can look at this. So written in the heart. These are really straightforward, because this is where Paul pulling it from. But Paul pulling this from where? He actually spoke on this. And this is a place that we already did. So, and actually I want to pull another one. 1 second. Let me see, 1 second, I want to do another one. I want to pull another one, actually. I want to pull this other scripture real quick. And that's the one I actually want. And yeah, I knew that's where, okay. So that's where I mainly want, but let's go here first. And it's saying, now, what's in their heart is what? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. These are things, these are works of the law that's in their hearts. So never forget what's saying there. And once we understand that these are the works of the law that is against God. That's what this is saying. Don't never let someone tell you something differently. Well, we're going to look at it this way and we're going to look at it that way, because that's not what this is saying. So he showed the works of the law written in their hearts. So if it's written in their hearts, and if it's written in their hearts, they did by nature things contained in the law, which he's saying in fully, it is against what God, what is according to God. That's all this is saying. These not having the law, because he clarifies that. These meaning what? These people having not the law. So they don't have the law, but they're doing things contained in the law. So the things contained in the law is the things that God telling you what not to do. That's what this is saying. This is real clear as we go through it. So we need to see an example of this. We have to see some examples of this, and let's pull some of this. We're going to go to 1 Timothy, and let's go to 2 and 4. Let's go to 1 Timothy 2 and 4. You can get a little bit more on there. 2 and 4. And it says, and who will have all men to be saved, to come to the knowledge of the truth. Why is it saying that? Why is it saying it in this manner? I'm going to show you why. Because you have to come to the knowledge of the truth, because once you come to the knowledge of the truth, that's where it comes in. Why? Because it says their conscience also bearing witness. Their conscience. So if your conscience is cool about it, when you do something wrong, what's wrong? Then your conscience is bearing witness is what you're doing. This is the problem that we have. So if we have this problem and we're not doing anything more about it, and we can do wrong and do these things wrong, that's why we go right back here in 2:4. Who will have all men to be saved, but all men will not. Why? And to come to the knowledge of the truth. The truth is nothing but the commandments of God. That's all this actually means. That's all the truth means. That's why you see in the New Testament, you see truth used more, because you don't have to use actually commandments of God. This is what was going on. So most people will sit there and think that commandments of God, okay, we in class. So the commandments of God is showing you what you're under. That's the thing. And if you're sitting there and they're saying, well, that's why Yahweh shall sit there and say the truth. And same thing you see Paul and them, they're using truth. So as everybody using truth, we have to understand that truth is saying nothing more than commandments of God or the law. And to make sure that you sit there and see that, we don't have to put that in there, but just to where you have a caveat, people who is just coming into this and still just want to learn and understand more of what's going on, this is where you can find this at. You're going to go to 119, Psalms 119, you're going to go to 142. And this is one easy area to where you can get it, and then later I can show you in even more deeper areas. But 142 will tell you, thy righteousness in the everlasting righteousness in thy law is the truth. So it's letting you know even here, the law is the truth. Then this is your hint right there, what tells you. So everywhere else, you see it start transitioning through here to where you start seeing where the law is talking about nothing but the truth of God. That's all that's mean. So we have to understand what was going on here to get the full understanding of what's happening. Okay, bye. Don't forget to take pork roast off the oven. We online. And the pork ribs. Please, you know it better not be no pork ribs in here. Yeah, and I apologize. But the main thing, what we have to remember and understand here is how everything here and what we do here is a certain way. Because if you're going to sit here and you're going to do things that are righteous, then you're doing things that's righteous that is under God, because you're going to be doing the truth. But you have people who will not do the truth, and not doing the truth is doing something otherwise. Meaning what? They're going to be doing things that is not according to God. So let's see how we're going to sit there and see, because he says a little bit more in here. And we're going, don't worry, we're going to put those scriptures in there to understand more. Now, to see more of what was going on, we're going to see it as it tells you. And also bearing witness. So we're seeing this bearing witness. Witness what? Is what's written in their hearts, because they're going to do things that according to their hearts that they're going to do, because it tells you written within their hearts, and they're going to be bearing witness, meaning what? These are things that are false. So we have to understand how some of this is all set up. Let's look at some of this. Let's look at how this all is, to where we can get a full understanding exactly what we want to portray out there, to show you exactly what's going on. So we're going to go to Susanna. I want to close that. Yeah. So I want to go to Susanna, because Susanna's saying something that's very peculiar here. And we want to go to Susanna. We're going to go to 1, and we're going to go down to 43. Susanna 1 and 43. Why? Because it's going to tell us something that's really important to help us out a great deal. It's saying, thou knowest that thou have bore false witness against me. Bore false witness against me. And behold, I must die, whereas I never did such things as these men has maliciously invented against me, that they made up things. Why is it saying it in that way? Because we sitting right here, and it goes right back here. Their conscience bearing witness. And what they're doing, they're going to meanwhile accusing or excusing one another. So they're going to accuse you on a lie to excuse themselves from what really happened. This is what they're doing. And they're going to do this with one another, because they're going to all be in bed together. We have to understand, this is where Paul is trying to get us to really find out and understand exactly what he's saying all the time. And he gets more, because we're going to go down to one more. We're going to look at another one here at 61. In 61, it tells you, it's even more clear. It says, and they arose against the 2 elders, for Daniel had convicted them of what? Of false witness by their own mouths. What do we go back to say here? They was bearing witness with their own mouths, their own conscience, their own hearts, while accusing, but they was excusing themselves. Why? Because they didn't have the law, and they didn't do the law and they did the law by nature that was contained in the law. This is what was going on. This is why this is saying it in this manner. So this is why we have to always remember, when we do things, how we do, because in our mind, and keep this in mind, because he's working with the mind, and it goes down when we get into the next verse. You're going to see in these next 2 verses why he's saying it in this manner. Meaning what? Because what they produce in your heart, you produce it from your mind. The thought comes first from the mind. Once it comes from the mind, it's produced at your heart. What's pleasing to you, what's desirous to you, what you want to do. That's what this is talking about. What do this produce? Evil thoughts. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's go to Matthew, which we have to actually use. We're going to go to Matthew 15:19, and we can actually speak more on it. 15:19. And he tells you right here. Actually, let's go right here. But those things which proceed out of the mouth, what we just read this in Susanna, come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. Didn't we just read this from Susanna? That they spoke that evilness right out of their own mouth. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts. Because now this is the desire to what? To deceive someone. This is what he's saying. Evil thoughts, murder, adulteries, fornication, thief, false witness. These are key elements that are being used here. Key elements are being used here. And what they're doing, it proceeded out of the mouth. So even when we go back to Susanna and we go down through here, we're going to go right back down and we're going to look at 43. And it says, Noah have bore false witness against me. Behold, I must die. So she must die, whereas I never did such things as these men maliciously invented against me. How did they do it? Let's go down to 61 and let's see what they did. And they said what? And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of what? False witness by their own mouth. This is what we do. So what perceived in the mind first goes into the heart, goes out. Because that's what you choose to do. That's what you're choosing to do. This is the problem that we have with Paul. And Paul is sitting there trying to sit there and saying something. And we have one more we're going to look at, and then we're going to put them in there. We're going to put them in there. Then we're going to start tearing some of this down. We're going to go over to Mark, and we're going to go to 14 and 56. We got to look at this. But when we start honing in just on one certain thing and don't want to jump around to where you got to get some from here, some from there, to understand what these prophets and what these messengers are saying, you're killing yourself. Now, we're going to go right here. We're going to look at 56. And it says, for many bear false witness against him, but their witness agreed not together. So they sitting there lying, and one telling one lie, another one telling another kind of lie. What was going on? This is what was going on. And there arose a certain bear false witness against him, saying, I have heard him saying, I will destroy this temple that is made with hands, and within 3 days I will build another made without hands. Now, he didn't even say it in that manner. He didn't even say it in that manner. He said, if you destroy this temple, I'll rebuild it in 3 days. And they thought he was talking about a building. So this man already told a lie. He told clearly a lie. So if he's telling these lies, and what we are saying even in here is what they're doing, which show the works of the law written in their hearts. They what? Bearing false witness, envy, murder, everything that we've been looking up above is what they're doing. And most of these men supposed to be Israelites, doing the works of Gentiles. It's not saying when Paul's saying, when you look at 1 Corinthians 12:2, we was acting like Gentiles, taking off the dumb idols, acting like Gentiles. This is what he's talking about. You can see that even today. You can go to courts today. You can go to many places legally supposed to be telling you honest stuff, but they'll sit there. They will accuse and excuse one another. You can see that even on the news today. You can see these things that's happening to where you can see clear stuff in video that happened, and they will sit there and excuse those men and saying they was either fear for their lives or something else. That's a Gentile. These are the things. So we're going to put in 1 Timothy. We're going to put in 1 Timothy 2:4. We got to put in Susanna 43 and 61. We're going to put in Matthew. Matthew 15:19. And some might want to use a little bit more. That's fine too. Mark. We're going to use Mark 14:56, and we're going to go to 57. So this is what we have. But we want to still look at some of these words here, because they excusing one another. So how did that actually look according to what's going on? to pull this and understand how that actually is working, we're going to look at some of this to which you can actually be found in Sirach. We're going to go to Sirach and we're going to get some information from Sirach to help us to understand better on how they do things in different manners. So we're going to go to 32 verse 17, and we're going to look at this real close. It says, a sinful man, me telling you, a sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. Are you following that? Look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna flip them back and forth. Okay, it says their thoughts, the meanwhile, excusing or accusing one another. Accusing one another. This is what they do. Meaning what? They're going to save themselves, and that's why you sit there and you see this in 7. A sinful man will not be reproved. There's no way you're going to sit there. He's going to always find an excuse and accuse you for what's going on and what he did, but find an excuse according to his will. Meaning what? This the same thing, the problem we had over here with our father Adam. The same identical problem. We don't have to use this and put this in there, but just some of you guys might want to put there and keep this in, and we can remember what it was. But the same thing. When Yahweh told him, he said, who told thee thou was naked? Thou hast eaten from the tree whereof I commanded thee, thou shouldest not eat. But what did Adam and them say? He said, the man said, the woman thou givest to be with me, she gave to me, and I did eat. How much sense did that make? He's not even sitting there want to take the full blame whatsoever. He's removing himself from blame. And who did he put it on? He put it on God. This is the biggest problem. Why? Because we don't want to sit there and take blame for something. We have to put it on, we're going to always put it on someone else. So if we're going to put it on someone else, what did that make Adam at that time? What did that make Adam at that time? And he said, a sinful man will not be reproved. He was refusing to be reproved. That's what was going on the entire time. But findeth an excuse according to his will. Now you know why Adam did that. Adam thought that it was desirous to his eyes, one to be desired and to make one wise. This was the entire problem, the entire time. The exact same problem that we have here. The same problem we have here. We will always make up an excuse and accuse others to make up an excuse to do what our will we want to be. We want to sit there, oh, we're going to tell you what? Yeah, well, no, that was for the Levites. No, we don't know. No, that was for the Levites. I can do this now. No, that's the Old Testament. I can do this now. Well, we're going to tell you what? I have to do it this way, and God understand, because I'm going to do it this way now. We're going to always continually make excuses, and we're going to accuse people of saying, well, no, that's you. That's not me. That's you. You follow me? This is 1 second. I got people over. 1 second. Yeah. So that's what's going on. But we have to understand how this all works out. Now we got to put this in there because we want people to see what was going on. Meaning what? We're gonna accuse one another or excuse. So we're gonna accuse. Actually, I want to use exactly that. Or and why? because this is what we're about. 32:17. Why? Because this is what we do. This is what we do. We will sit there no matter what, and it means what? We're sinful men. Because when we make accusing in or excusing from what the actual issue is, being sinful. Because why? We're trying to justify ourselves. We accuse someone else to justify ourselves. This is what we do. We do this verbatim. We'll say anything bad about someone else, and then to make us look good. These are things that we do. These are things that we do, and we do it constantly. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands so far what's going on, because we're going to start going into some other territories as we go down. But I want to make sure that the YouTube side and people in the back understand what's going on so far on how what we like to do and why Paul is talking in this manner. So if everybody understand, I can move forward. If anybody have a question so far, you can put your hand up or you can put it in the question and we can go with that, so just let me know. So far right now in the back, we don't have no hands. On YouTube side, I don't see anything. So I'm gonna give you about 15 seconds. I know that's the delay about the same. And if not, we're gonna move forward. So currently right now, we're still pretty good. And we're going to be moving forward. So let us move forward. So we're going to continue to move forward on what we have, which is pretty good. So let's move forward on this and constantly go through. So the main thing is now what we're going to do is we're going down to verse 16. Verse 16 has a more problem because we have to tear down some stuff in here to get a better understanding on what's happening. Meaning what? It says, in the day when God shall judge the secrets. So these secrets need to be really explained in a little bit more detailed way. So, and I don't want the drawing tool, I want the highlight tool. Now, why it didn't do that? And this is the secret. I don't really want that one. I don't know why. Yeah, because my system been messing with me, so I'm gonna hold that, but I'm gonna change that later. So I just leave it right there right now. But these secrets, we want to understand what's going on with those secrets, because with men, secrets, and he's telling you clearly in here, in the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua Christ, according to my gospel. So according to my message, because most people will say, the gospel, which most of us, we come out of the Christian background arena, and they say the gospel means good news. Throw that out of your head, because that's a lie. That's not the truth. It means the message. And the message is we need to be doing something. We need to repent, remember, and come back and do the works that's meant for repentance. That's what we do. Not some good news, because the good news is just saying, hey, all you got to do is believe and this and that. And that's the lie that they tell you, which we're going to end up proving that in 1 second based on some other things that they are lying about. Now, we got to look at in the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua Christ, according to my gospel, according to that message. How can we find out what secrets of men that men did? Because stop reading the forefront of what the Bible is saying. We have to come off that edge. We have to go deeper into that. We got to go deeper into the deeper water to understand what he was saying there. If not, we'll never know what was said, because he said he had to judge the secrets of men. So the secrets of men is having a function of what's going on. And we don't know what the function is if we don't research what the function was. This is why we have to look at this. So what we want to do, and I'm going to put this in there. I wasn't going to put it, but I'm going to put this in there. Function of secrets. We want to find out what are some of the functions of secret. We have to put this there. There's no other way to do it. Why? So once we put this in there, we're going to see some functions. Because this is what we're looking for. This is it. Not secrets, but we want to find the function of secrets. This is what we have to do. Let's look at some of this. Let's go over it. Let me click over. And we're gonna see some functioning of secrets, what he's saying, what secrets men do. So Paul speaking, we still have to go always, most times, in almost every time, we have to always go to Old Testament when Paul is speaking. But we got to see, okay, we're gonna go to 17, we're gonna go to verse 9. Now, we're gonna look at verse 8. We're gonna do 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Why we're gonna do 8 and 9? Because actually I want you to have a clearer picture on what is happening. So we're gonna do 8 and 9. Now, here we go. And actually, might even go up to, let's go up to 7. Just make it just clear. We're just gonna do 7. It says, so it was that the children of Israel sinned against Yahweh their God. Why? Because we're doing stuff in secret. And we think we're doing it in secret, but we're actually doing it open, because you got to remember, his eyes is brighter 10,000 times more than the sun. So ain't nothing in secret, which brought them up out of the land of bondage, out of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. Now, why in the world are we fearing some wood and stone? But watch what happens. And walked in the statutes of the heathens. This is what we do. We're good at doing this. Meaning what? Whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel and of the king of Israel, which they have made. So now you saying not he made, they have made. They have made. Keep that in mind. Now watch this, verse 9. And the children of Israel did secretly, those things that were not right against Yahweh their God, and they built them high places in their cities, from the tower of the watchman to fence city. That's what we do. So what were we doing? We built high places from the tower of the watchman. That's one problem we was having. What else were we doing? To show you the functioning, what we're doing. So we was out there building high places. So when you build a high place, it's the same as when you walk into a church and you see the pastor or that preacher is up on this stand and you sitting down below, and he's in a higher place than what you are. Same thing. But we need to see the functioning of what we was doing. So we got to find out the function of those secrets. So let's go, and we're going to look at Solomon. We're going to go to Solomon, chapter 1. We're going to go to 1. We're going to go down, and we're going to look at 10. It says, for the ear of jealousy heareth all things. Now, didn't he say he's a jealous God? He said, for I am a jealous God. But watch this. The noise of murmuring is not here. Did not he tell you, if he's a jealous God, he don't only see all things, he hear all things. But let's watch this. Therefore, for that reason, he's a jealous God. For that reason, he's jealous. For that reason, beware. of the murmuring which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. Oh, okay, we tripping again. For there is no word too secret, so that that shall go for naught, in the mouth that believeth slay the soul. So we back there talking a bunch of trash. He said he just, so he gonna hear all our stuff. He's hearing what we doing. We sitting there speaking, and we should be refraining our tongue from what we're doing, because our word, it tell you there is no secret. So when you speak it, he hear it. You can whisper it all day long. He heard it. Why? He's a jealous God. He got the ear jealousy. He said, "What about me? What you say? You gonna mess with another guy? Oh, okay, all right. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I got you. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. I got you." See, this is what we do. Let's look at a little bit more. We're gonna go over to 14, and we need to see the functioning on how this will work. 14, and we're gonna go down to 22. It says, moreover, this was not enough for them. Talking, speaking, all this stuff that we sit there and we speak against God. That wasn't enough. Speaking against God, that wasn't enough. And he got the ear of jealousy. He hear you. Watch this. That they erred in the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. Now we sitting there, he give us a plague. He said, "Yo, I got you. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, no problem. Let me put this plague on you. You call it peace." You said, "What?" You said, "What about?" "Oh, okay, I got you. Yes. Let me put this plague on you." Oh, you don't even want to sit there and hold to what, looking towards God on what actually did the problem and caused you to have the problem. You want to sit there, you want to call this great war of ignorance of God. You want to call this, "Oh, well, if the Lord want me to have this, then I'll fight through it, and then I'm gonna go be with him." War of ignorance, straight ignorance. So meaning what? Here you go a little bit more. For Willis, they slew their children in sacrifices. So now we not only speaking, we will slew our children in sacrifices, or use secret ceremonies. Wait a minute. Is not he sitting there talking about these secrets? He should judge the secrets of men. By salvation, Christ, according to my message. And what are we doing? What are we doing? We didn't use this so much, and now we didn't sit there and we didn't sacrifice our children, and we even use secret ceremony and use rivalings and strange rites. Not only that, we doing things contain. Let me go back, because I want to make sure we understand exactly what we're doing. And what Paul, see, can everybody think Paul, "Oh, brothers and sisters, we do." No, Paul is trying, your life is on the line, and he wants you to understand what you're doing is going to cause you to have eternal damnation. Accusing, excusing one. Why? You go right back up there, you're doing things that is not lawful, that's contained in the law. And then you think you're going to do them in secret. All this is all tied together. All of it's tied together. Meaning what? They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled. Marriages is between one man, one woman. They'll sit there and tell you, well, God permitted David to have all them wives. He permitted Solomon. And when they stand before God and they don't, well, you're gonna see him in the kingdom. You ain't gonna know because you won't be there. You pushing out that lie, I guarantee you won't be there. You teaching a false doctrine in that manner. You can sit there and say, who all gonna be there, you can try to profess anything as that matter and nor keep their life nor marriages any longer, because if you add one woman to your life and you saying you married to her, you have wives. And he said, don't multiply those. The same as you don't multiply spirits. You can't serve God and mammon. You can't serve spirit and flesh. These things we cannot do. These things we need to make sure what we do all the time is correct. This is why this happens. So we have to make sure all this is right. So now we sitting there, we no longer keep our marriages no longer undefiled. Why? Could we join other things to it? But either one slew another treacherously. So you're going to fight for it, because they fighting with us even today. People who believe in that belief system, slewing one another. But God gonna always prevail. So that's why I'm on that other side. I'm gonna stay on that side. One, God is not a liar, and they want you to look at flesh to judge God of allowing those men on what they did. And God never said he did or didn't. But they sitting there thinking for God. And what? Or grieved by him by adultery. But it gets even better. Meaning what? So that they reign in all men without exception, exception blood. So what goes on with that? Manslaughter. Because blood don't mean nothing but life. 1 second. Ooh, excuse me. So we have that manslaughter, theft, disassimilation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defilings of souls, changing of kinds, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness. All this. Secrets. They'll tell you one. Let's look at it. So we'll be dead on what we're talking about. You're going to, same thing goes with this. So you're going to accuse one person. Okay, so what about Solomon? What about David? What about Abraham? What about Moses? What about whoever else you want to name in there? You're going to accuse them. You're accusing them. You're saying they're doing that to excuse yourself. This is what this is doing. Why am I honing in on that more so why I'm just saying it in that manner? He telling you right there, disorder in marriages, adultery. That's why I'm honing in on it. Because that's talking about that. So people sit there, well, he's on this thing again. No, that's what he's talking about. Why? Because he's saying nor neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, committing adultery. You add one woman to that, adultery. So the only thing they will do will not use the licensing of the land, because if they use the licensing of the land and they add a woman to that one and they have two wives, that's polygamy and that's jail time. So no license. But they're going to tell you license. We license under God to have these many women. And we shameless, but you're uncleanness. But it gets better. For worshiping of idols to be named is the beginning, is the beginning and the cause of the end of all evil. Because they looked at what some men did according to the flesh, and they tried to model themselves because they worshiped them as idols, and sitting there saying Solomon had 700 wives. They made him an idol, and now they worship him as a god, and that caused the end because of all evil. This is what Paul is getting into. Either they are mad, clear, when they be merry, and drinking, or prophesy lies, yes, or live unjustly, yes, or else lightly forswear themselves. Really? Meaning what? They're going to excuse themselves. This is what we do. But it gets better. For in so much as their trust is in idols. What have they made idols? David, Solomon, Moses, anyone they believe that they see in scripture that they believe was married to all these women, they made them idols. Are you following me? This is what this is all saying. And it says, which have no life. You don't have no life. Why? Because it tells you right here when you go back here, and we're going to come right back, but because you don't have no life. Why? Because Deuteronomy 6, just like I said, the Bible is all connected. It do not separate itself. And it says, and the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes to fear the Lord thy God, our God, and they didn't fear him, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive. For this next one, for the next coming, as it is this day. You following that? This is the problem that we have. This is why we go through these issues that people have. And we do everything else that they see. And the only thing they'll say, you can't find nowhere in there where God punished them for that. You can't find nowhere in there where God told them to marry a bunch of women. But I can show you in there where he told you don't multiply wives. And this is no, that's talking about a king. No, that's a ruler. And when a man walk in his house, he say, I'm the king of my castle. When I see all these things they use, because a ruler is a ruler over a body of people. A king can be a ruler over one person. These are the things, these are the problems that we have. So we have to understand this. Now we have this problem that we're going through. Let's jump down to 17. Let's jump down to 17 in verse 3. It says, for while they suppose to lie, hid they secret sins. So now they hide secret sins. They were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange appearances. Are we serious? But watch this. It gets this. he gets this. Let's go down to verse 18. Let's go down to 18. 18:9, because it gets better. It says, for though not troubled things did fear them. For though not troubled things did fear them. Why? Because they don't fear God. No, God. You let Adam do it. You let Solomon do it. You let these people do that. And now you saying I can't do it? He said, worship him in spirit and in truth. But he's saying, yet being scared with beasts that pass by and hissing serpent. You ain't scared of God, but you're scared of a dog. You ain't scared of God, but you're scared of a pet bull. You ain't scared of God, but you're scared of a lion. You ain't scared of God, but you're scared of a hyena or a cobra or anaconda. See, these are things that we have, and we do these secret ceremonies because what we do, we lie, we do all these secret rites, which it shows all right here all day. So we have to understand what we're doing. So these are secret functions on what we was doing. So how do we do this? 2 Kings, I'm going to do it. Let me see. 2 Kings, we're doing 2 Kings 17, and we're going to do 8 and 9. And we got wisdom. We got 1, 10, and 11. And I'm separating that for a reason, because we're doing it a certain way. We got wisdom again, and you should separate it because I'm gonna show you something later. We got 22 through 29. We have 17, 3, and we have 18, 9. Because these are the secret functions that are according to his gospel, to this message. To this message. Now, before we move forward, actually, let me save this. Let me make sure it's saved. So before we move forward and we go to 16, I want to make sure that we are all clear. And do we have any questions that was based on what Paul is saying so far? Are we good in the back? Are we good on the YouTube side? If not, please bring your questions or anything forward to where we can make sure we're clear as we move forward. And so far, we're good in the back. And I'm going to give them about 15 seconds on the YouTube side. And if not, we're going to move forward. We're going to go into the rest of it and start going into 17, which we're going to do a little bit more and get some understanding. So far, okay. Brother Pryor named it. He said we're good, so I'm going to take it as that. So we're good. So let's move forward. And that's what I said look for. So he done named it, and we move on. So now, verse 17. Now, this is where we're going to get really, really understand it. So I'm asking you guys to if you have your Precept Bible, I want you guys to have it out because I want you guys to make and add some things to there. And it's not something that was an error that we made or that I made on any behalf, but it's certain things to where we seem to where we're defining things even later in later books on what I'd be doing. Now we're going to look at this, and we're going to look at something. We're going to do a test. Now then we're going to actually have to have class participation in this, and this is why I'm doing this. Now it says, "Behold, thou art called a Jew, and rested in the law, and maketh thy boast of God." Now we're looking at that, but we have a couple of things that is technically not speaking English terminology. Meaning what? we have to understand what this is saying. We got to remember, we speak a flavor of England. And this is actually one of the better examples is why I want to show you more so what we need to do and understand why we need to make sure we understand these words. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here in the word boast and all these other things, but I want to know the first word, and I'm going to show it again. I'm going to show it again to where we clearly know. It says right here, I'm going to see if I can highlight it. Hopefully I can highlight it. I want to tell you, that's probably why I couldn't highlight it. Let me see. Yep, that was it. I want to know, behold. Now, my thing is, and I'm going to define a couple of other ones, but I want to know, what do anybody can tell me, actually, what behold mean? What do behold mean? And we got to have participation in this, because I clearly want to understand from everybody else's standpoint, what do that word mean? Now I'm looking for some in the back to put their hand up, and I have a look like a new person, and King One. Go ahead. I can hear you if you speak up.
Does it mean to look?
To look, okay. We're gonna hold that. We're gonna find out. I appreciate that. We need some more, and we have a brother C Black. We have him. He's saying to observe. Okay, we got that from Nick Sunday. We got a couple of people. We got Sister Johnson. We have Sister Angelica. And we got a lot of people saying, look, pay attention.
Does it mean to adhere to?
To adhere to. Okay, we're gonna look at that too. We're gonna look at all those, and I appreciate it. So, Elder Smith.
Someone say, did they say listen?
Listen.
Already?
I appreciate that. No, we got to pay attention, and I'm gonna tell you, all these are good things.
I'm gonna say remember.
Remember, okay. So, and that's Sister Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Remember.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you guys something, and actually, those were good ones. And Sister Johnson actually got it 100% correct. You know, it can go into two ways. And I'm gonna show you something, and then we're gonna see how it functions, and then I'm gonna start explaining some things. And I'm gonna show you why. I had one person put it in there. Only God says this. I'm speaking. No, we're getting ready to find out something. We're gonna see something. So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna look at a couple of things. We're gonna find out why it says this and why our language has a lot of issues. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull this over here, and I'm gonna pull this one here, and I pulled another one over here, and I pulled up Merriam Dictionary, Webster Dictionary since 1828. Why do we have this here? Because I want to show you something, and we're gonna look at what everybody's saying, and to make sure that we clearly get this very good. Okay, now we looking clearly at a English for this side of the version dictionary, and it says behold. It's a verb. So if a verb is doing something, that's what you got to remember. So it's perceived, the thought, and apprehension. So it's telling you something a little bit different, but it's not telling you the functioning on what you need to see it to see how it functions in the Bible. So to perceive through the sight of apprehension, it actually is giving you a pretty good definition of what it's trying to say technically in the scriptures, but it's not giving you the actual thing. And we're going to find out why. But now you're going to see where it's going to go into, where it's not going to go into. To pleasure to behold, beheld that beauty. It gets into a lot of other stuff. And now we're going to look at some of these words and what we got to look at as we look at this as we go through. Why? Because it's going to tell you something. It's going to tell you comprehend. Okay. That's another word as to remember. But we're gonna see, but it's not giving you the exact word that you need, but it's telling you something that you need. Why? Because now we're gonna look at decipher, discern, get, grasp, perceive, and understand. See, the problem here in what we're doing here is this, and why we don't understand. Many of us did so many different things because these here, only a few of them was hitting the same thing, like you see right here, understand. So remember and understand is one of the ones which is done, what's doing this. This is what we need to do. We have to understand the function of the word. Function is key. Because you miss the function, you're going to lose it. And I'm going to show you some examples to show you the functioning of behold, to where this is why I say don't use these types of things to go through your your Bible. Because we're gonna lose what it's saying. So now, like we had Sister Johnson said, she said, behold mean remember. That you can use remember, or sometime it'll be understand. And we're gonna see that as function. So let's go to Genesis. And this is why it's so important to understand even the simplest word, behold, and how you will catch behold, and it can throw you off, and most people won't even know what it actually said. But now we're gonna see the functioning of the word. We got to understand it. It says, and God said, behold. Now, let's look at the function. We have to understand the function of the word. How do this word works? It's the same as we go out and we do something. So the best way to do this is the American not giving you the functioning, the foundation of the word, the sentence structure, because that's what they do. So these are not functions on what they give you, because a function gives you a movement of the letters. See, most people tell, oh, you gotta know the letters. This, no, see, they not knowing what they're actually saying, because they know the function of what I'm talking about. Because they said, now you look at the function and you remove what the word is and just look at the function of the word. So it says, and God said, remember, I have given you every herb bearing seed upon the face of the earth. He's telling you something right there. Remember this. Or understand, I have given. Same thing. Meaning what? We're going to look at another one. A functioning of behold. Functioning of behold. We got to look at the function of the word. It says, behold, remember, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. Most people say, behold. Behold what? So not to observe. Observe, thou hast. See, it's not saying that. We got to look at the function, the functioning of behold. Behold is a function word. So we don't look at the function of these words, you'll never know what the Bible was saying. Let's look at another one. And we're going to go. And this will work all through scripture, because this is scripture and you defining what the functioning word is of behold. So once you know the function of it, you can go anywhere in the Bible and it's going to tell you the same thing. As long as you know the functions. The functions is the key. And that's why most times when you see in that Precept Bible, you'll see the affiliation there. Those are the functioning words in the Bible. Are you with me? So when you get a Precept Study Bible, in the first 5 books, those affiliations are functions. Those are words, those affiliations are nothing but functions of the word. That's all it's telling you. So let's look at it a little bit more. We're gonna go down to 17. It says, and behold, comma, and remember, even I, do bring a flood upon the waters of the earth and destroy all flesh. So remember or understand. He's telling you the same thing. Same thing, no different. Why? Because now we understand how behold functions, and we understand how it functions, we get it. Are you following this? Now let's look at some more. We're gonna get out of Genesis. We're gonna go somewhere else. And I don't care where you go, it's gonna function the same manner. We're gonna look at 27, Psalms 27, and we're gonna go to verse 4. It says, one thing have I desired of Yahweh. Are you with it? Watch. That I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of Yahweh all the days of my life, to behold, to remember the beauty of the Lord, to understand the beauty of the Lord. Telling you the same identical thing all the time. Once you understand the functions of the word, something English will never show you. English, a flavor of England. Functioning is your most important thing. Affiliations of the word is your most important thing to mainly know when you're trying to understand functioning of how stuff works. On how stuff works. Psalms 119, we're going to go down to 37. Let's go down here. It says, turn away my eyes from beholding vanity, from remembering vanity, and quickest thou me in thy way. Let's look at verse 40. Remember, I have longed after thy precepts. Understand, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. We're looking at the functioning of the word. The functioning of the word. So that's how we get this, and then you'll understand a lot more as you go through, because you stop looking at more so the top half of the Bible, and now you're going into a little bit more in the way in the water. So 14:1, it tells you, remember the day of the Lord cometh, and the spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Functioning of the word. Remember is what? Remember it is also telling you the functioning of what's going on. Meaning what? To understand how things function. A function is a functioning visual, or here and now. It means in here now, and you put HEAR, put a hyphen there, NAL. They're gonna tell you that's not a word, but it actually is a word. And it's what? It's the same thing, because the functioning of the word is a here and now. Meaning what? It's going either visually, you're gonna see how something functions, or hearingly. Here now is saying the same thing on how something actually works. Meaning what? It's the same thing when you walking or swimming. It's the function of your legs. See, it's a movement that's made either with what? Either with your mind or with your heart. The functioning of that word is going to operate in two ways, either from the mind or from the heart. That's what that's doing. Did everybody understand that? Everybody understand it, or do we need to go a little bit deeper? Everybody understand it? Okay, so far I have none on the back and none on the front on YouTube. I just want to make sure. Oh, wait a minute. I got one come up. Sorry about that. Brother Mac.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my brother.
It sounds like the word behold, God is pronouncing something, or an event has happened or supposed to have happened, or Israel should have done something, or God is going to do something. It sounds like that's what the definition you're giving of behold, is it not?
No, behold is telling you remember.
Right, it's remember, but he's going to do something though. Something's going to happen.
No, he can tell you something that he already had done.
Okay.
You
All
follow me? So what
Okay.
we do? Oh no. We gotta. So watch this. We gotta. Let me pull one to where we can see it. Because I don't see, my biggest thing is, and I know you've been with me for a while. You know I'm not gonna leave you hanging.
Right.
So I need to make sure. We need to know what happened. Because we did one, but I want to go and I want to go to one couple of places, and I want to make sure that we have because we have some in Genesis, but I want to give you some that is actually in Exodus where he actually speaks, another way, and actually, yeah, here you go. Okay, let's go to Exodus. Let me pull this up now. 1 second. That's what I want to pull. Let me go to Exodus. I wanted to pull a couple where we can get that functioning in there to where we'll clearly know what he's talking about. We're gonna go to Exodus. And we're gonna go to Exodus 14. And we're gonna look at a couple of them. We're gonna go to 14 and we're gonna go to verse 17. And we're gonna look at this. It says, actually, let's go. I'm gonna start at 15. And then I'm gonna go down to 17. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, therefore criest thou unto me, which he asked in the question, and he said, speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward, but lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Now watch what he's saying this. And he's saying, and I. So the Most High is still speaking. And I
Right.
remember, I'm telling you right there, Clay, remember, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians and they shall follow them. So he's telling them already, when they get ready to go through there, he's gonna harden their hearts to where they're gonna do, they're gonna do exactly what he said, and they did exactly what they said. So he just said, remember, I'm doing this. He's setting all this up. Just remember this. But watch what he's gonna do here. Let's go to 16. We're gonna go to another one. And we're gonna go to 16 in verse 4. And he's gonna say the same thing. Verse 4. And it says, and then the Lord unto Moses, what? Behold, remember, I will rain bread from heaven for you. Remember this. Just remember this. Or he can even use understand this, because those are interactive to where you can actually switch them. But we looking at the functioning of the mind.
Okay.
You follow me? And then the
Yes,
functioning the functional parts of the ear. Because what we're doing, we're not seeing this, but we hear it and then we function behind it. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go to 23. We're gonna go to one more. We're gonna go to 23. And we're gonna look at verse 20. Just to see it. And you might go through a few of them to where you start really understand. It says, behold.
Remember.
Yeah, 23 and 20.
Yes.
It says, behold, you can look at understand. I sent an angel before thee. Or you can say, remember, I sent an angel before thee, saying the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So as he's saying, remember, I sent the angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. So you're saying, just remember this. Behold. That's all they're saying. Nothing more, nothing less. And what'll happen here, you'll get more clarification as you start remembering this and seeing the functioning of the words and not looking at behold. And people say, oh man, this means this or this means that. See, because you're just giving another definition, but not the function of the word. And I know function, is kind of new to a lot of people where they have to understand how words work. We're not looking at how words, what they meant.
Well, you told us our English is not proper English here. So
Yeah, it's not proper English. We have to look at we have to look at how words actually. Same thing. When you say the same function, you look at say okay. Let's look at it this way. When you put your money in the bank, you look for it to draw interest, don't you?
yes, yes,
Yeah, you look. Okay, so the functioning reason you put it in there is for it to add some more to it. That's the function of putting it in the bank.
yes.
I
I
put it
want, I
in the
want
bank so it can make some more money.
right increase.
That's
my
that
money.
exactly. So just as you just said, to increase, that's the function on why you put it in there.
Exactly.
That's all you're doing. So if you say, well, I put it in the bank for it to increase. So as soon as you put it in the bank to increase, what you do, you have to almost train your mind to say, well, I put it in the bank to increase. I put it in the bank to make more money. When you say increase, the function is it to make more money. That's all you're saying. You're not saying anything more, anything less. And it's what the mind perceive what increase is in coming from the heart. So I put this money in there that I know I'm already guaranteed up to 100 grand to where if anything happened that the government, I'm insured up to 100 grand. So I put it in here, but I put this money in the bank
Yes.
to actually just function on the increase that I can get. And that money going to do what? The function of increase is going to bring me back more money.
We don't get this in school. No, sir. You get a PhD degree, they ain't gonna tell you this.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother. It's no problem. In a lot of this, I do give thanks to the Most High, and the bigger thanks and same thing like to him. And I give a lot of thanks to Dr. Shaul, because Dr. Shaul literally, he personally, in which I don't even speak to people. Actually, this is the first time I ever even telling it even publicly, because he sat with me and literally showed me a lot of stuff, how stuff actually works. And that's what he did. He get in my butt behind it, but he made sure I knew how things work. And that's what he did. Even though you got fake people out there, oh, it's no doctors,
Yeah.
just as silly as they.
Well,
But that's them.
well, you know, God knows everything, so He was getting ready for you to get us ready.
Yeah, and that's all, and that's it. The end result is I show you what I know, and that's it. We good. So now, do we need to go anywhere else, or are we pretty good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it, my brother. Now I want to know anybody out there. I want to know, would repent have the same function as behold, being remembered? Okay, yeah, this the same thing, but you use them separate. Because if you use behold, and this is from brother Anthony, because if you use behold and it says I will, actually let's look at it. Better, easier to do it. See, because we have to look at it, even though let's look at it. It's easier to look at it. I'll just do it that way. Let's do it that way, because I can show you the difference. I can show you the difference in it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is saying right here, behold. So we see behold right there. Now we know it means remember. Now we know this. And brother, I wish you was on the other side to where I can do it. But so we know that mean behold, it mean remember. But it's saying it in another way. So now let's look at something else. We're gonna go somewhere else, and we're gonna see the function of where he's saying that. So he's saying it in a whole nother way. Watch this. We're gonna go to Genesis chapter 6, and we're gonna go to verse 5. Actually, we'll go to verse 6. And we'll see right there. It says, and it repented the Lord, it reminded the Lord, and that's not the main one, but we'll see right here in verse 7. It said, and the Lord said, I will destroy man from whom I created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creepy things and fowls of the air, for it repented me. So if he put there, it behold me, it wouldn't make any sense. Structurally laid out, sentently structured, formatted. That's all. So that's the only difference. Structurally formatted, it wouldn't have made sense. So what they do, They use the actual synonym of that word, but the function is the same. So sometimes they have to use behold. When you saying behold, when most people say, well, why you just didn't put remember there? To deal with the Most High. I don't know. But that's what it means. So you sit there and you can use repented and it mean remembered and everything else. So this is why you see, but structurally laid out is why it's there. Meaning what? It's the same thing you can do to this one, 927, and I want to put that there 1 second. I want to get the other one. I want to put two of them there. Yeah, and I have the other one. Okay, so we're gonna go down to Genesis 9:27, and we're gonna see something that's really a trip. Okay, in verse 27 in Genesis, it says, God shall enlarge Japhet. Now we know right here in what it's saying. Now, if you look at that there, it's telling you he shall deceive. And this is one that we was able to get them to actually make that change that I was thanking them for that, because this is actually what it's talking about. So it means pathal, but it actually means to deceive. This is to deceive Japhet. Why? Because he should dwell in the tents of Shem, but he's not Shem, but he's going to dwell in the land of Shem. The land of Shem is where? In Jerusalem, or what they want to call Israel. And Canaan shall be his servant. So that's what it's telling you clearly right here. Now, this is the trip where you see enlarge, and it actually saying Pethal, but we're going to see over here, we're going to go to Exodus, and we're going to see it's still another functioning that's saying the same word, but the function is different. That's what I wanted to show you, because the function is completely different. And we're going to go to Exodus 34:24. Exodus 34:24. We're going to look at this and see how it functions out. 34:24. He said, for I will cast out the nations before thee and enlarge thee. So the same thing is the same thing. You see right here, he will grow, he will widen, he will make large. You see right here, he got that clearly right there. I will make large, I will to enlarge. He's making sure that's clear. So these are things that they, we told them, and they seen it, they did the research and everything, and they said, yeah, okay, you guys are correct, and we apologize, and they made the correction. So we don't have a problem there. But the main thing is, I still don't use that, but I do know people who go back into class and come back in KJBU, this is there, so we want them to watch what's there. So the same thing is, you've seen enlarge and everything there, but when you come here, you'll see the same thing. And now you see where he says, where you get down here, it's simply to entice, to deceive, to persuade, to open the mind, to be simple in native. So that's what it's talking about. So this is why it's so important to understand the word structuring in many different things. 1 second, let me get Elder Smith. Elder Smith?
Yes, Elder. Is it safe to say the difference repent and behold is used in the Bible is in the tense that is being put in?
Yeah, it's in the English structure that is laid out in. So it can't say, well, I will behold my sin. It won't make sense. But you can say, but I will repent of my sins. And you're saying the identical thing. You're going to remember. You're going to remember. But it's just the structure that you laid it out in, to where it's just structurally sound based on the language of English. And now the craziest thing is, in Hebrew, it's laid out a little bit different. But it's telling you. That. Okay, let me see. And I want to make sure that everybody we got here where some spiritual comeback talking about, you ready for us tonight? One, I don't even know why they're in there, but the main thing is we already made that clear with you. So you can come in the back and we can even talk about it later, but right now we're doing a class and not sitting here dealing with childish stuff. So let's finish up. Let me see. So the definition means to look, to see, to observe, however the function mean, to remember or understand. So yeah, it means that to remember or understand is the correct way, and that's the correct way he said it. So remember or understand is what we're doing. That's the main thing. So let me see, and let me see here. We got this one. Here, and let me see. So we don't have no other questions here. Oh, we might got one more. It says I'm back in. I'd like to answer the question live. I'm back in. Okay. Am I back? Yeah. And let me see. Prior. Yeah. Let me see. In prior, what was your question?
I was just saying that I'm in the back at this time.
Okay. Yeah. Now. Now. I'm trying to see what your question was. Yeah. Now, what was?
No, the question was about having the same function, repent as behold, and you mentioned that you wish I was in the back, so I switched over to the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because then really you don't. Over here is more immediate than over there. It's kind of delayed. So that's why I like people to come back here, because it's a little bit more immediate. So,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
but the main thing is, I just want to make sure, as far as the on how all that works, is what goes on based on the on how we go through. So when you see the functioning, and most people like put behold, and so we can put behold, even though behold means the same thing. It's the same thing as I say, one of the most common ones. We say bad, oh man, same thing. Let's look at this. We'll say uh, the Godfather is a bad man. How would you take that to me? How would you interpret that to me on what I just said?
That he's what would be the word for that? That he got it going on.
Yeah, but the main thing is, if he's the Godfather, well, actually, let me use a better one. Let me say Jeffrey Dahmer, best one. Jeffrey Dahmer is a bad man. How would you understand that coming out of someone's mouth?
It will have a negative connotation to it.
Exactly. Now, if I sit there and say Michael Jordan, no, I don't. Well, I like Kobe. Say Kobe Bryant is a bad man. What I'm saying?
One of the best in basketball.
Exactly. So, but you see, I'm using the same word, and I'm not even telling you what I'm meaning by the word, but you already understanding what I'm saying. Same
Correct.
word, the same identical word, but you have two different understandings on two different things that we just spoke about. So
Okay, so it just depends on how it's used.
yeah, so it depends on how it's used. And that's what we yeah. And one of the most important things is where when we look at how things are used, and why I showed you the dictionary, because they'll use it and they'll take you out, and they're gonna still use surface understanding to where you'll never get it.
Okay.
That's part of what's going on. So as long as if you don't get it, then we got an issue. But then if you get it based on mainly on a lot of the other understanding, you can go through it and you can get the understandings a lot better. So the best thing to always do is just to go through to get those understandings, to understand what was being said, and then know how to structurally lay it out based in the English language structure. That's why, I push more to where I try to make sure people understand what I'm saying, to where we can go in there. And reason why, the Bible tells you don't go to these outside resources. So don't go to outside resources, because you go into something that's not of his, and it'll give you a different understanding, which when we looked at those dictionaries, it gave you a different understanding if we use those thought patterns. But we have to look at the words and then look at how that word actually functions in the Bible. Once you understand the word, it's the same thing as if you're a CEO of a company, when you walk into that company, you already know what your function is, don't you?
That's correct.
So when somebody sit there and say, "Hey, Mr. Pryor right there, that's the CEO of the company," they already know what your function is. You don't have to tell them what it is. You don't have to say anything. What they know is you the CEO. They know the function of that CEO. The function of that CEO, they know you can hire and fire. They get. Two, they know that you running that company and you run, and all those, the CFOs and everybody else, the CEOs, all of them is under you and they take directions directly from you. Three, they know that the vision of this company is being driven behind you. All these things, because they know this is your function. And it's without any mistakes or anything. Somebody can say, "Well, I'm a supervisor." Now they're going to understand that they don't want to know the function of what that supervisor does. So they go in there, they say, "Oh, okay, I see what all is going on here." They say, "Yeah, and this is my supervisor." Automatically, you're gonna know the function of what that supervisor means. You don't have to even say what the supervisor, you know that supervisor, that person works for the supervisor, and this supervisor oversees all the operations on what the people that's under them is doing. The same understanding we have to take to the Bible. Because the Bible is the groundwork of done that, and we actually just gleaning from that, and we actually act like we the ones invented it, and we putting it to the Bible when the Bible actually created it and giving it to us. And but we being human, we think we did something, and we haven't did anything.
So basically, we have to learn the language of the scriptures.
Yeah, because it's a different language, and I tell people that all the time. The English language and the Bible language is two different languages. It's not the same. And see, and that's why I tell people, with me being a Hebraeus and everything, people sitting there thinking I'm this super brainiac guy. I'm not. I'm not this brainiac guy. I just know precepts and affiliations. And I read, and I'm a deep study of the Bible, but it makes me look like a brainiac, and I'm not. I'm no different than you. Just know this language. That's the only difference. Me and you with the language, I'm teaching you the language, nothing more.
Okay.
So that's the difference between everything else. And seeing another one, since I even and you always keep it. So the function of anything is what it's talking about. So when we understand to behold, to remember is a functioning word, not for your physical understanding, but it's for the mind and the heart. Those are the ones that gonna send out the function. So who is the supervisor? The CEO is the mind. The heart is the CFO. You follow me? So whatever the mind conjure up, the heart's gonna do it, and it's gonna follow out by what? By functioning on what your desire is. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay, and that's all it's doing. And I know, a lot of people out there, it might be confusing, but I asked them to go back because I knew some of this was going to get hairy, but I'd rather do it now than later, and then they have to go back and see it. And that's another reason why I went in Romans, because Romans, I knew it was going to be a lot of little hairy moments in here, but to get you to understand and get people to understand what these words actually mean, and they'll never have to leave the Bible. You can be walking around and the Bible should be weighing, 300 pounds, and most people can walk around with a Bible and it's only way less than a pound, and really don't understand the power they have in their hand. Literally don't know. So yeah, my brother, but come back here. It's easier because it's instant when we talk, and it's instant when you want to ask a question, because it's instant over here.
Okay.
All right, my brother, I appreciate you. And then we have yeah, we do have a comment based on brother Higgin. He said the Bible edifies itself. Yeah, 100% correct. You cannot, that's the hardcore statement. Where can I find the word? Is it saying priest? See, is you saying preceptor, Higgins, or not? If you saying see, that's why I like to. So you looking for this? Are you looking for preceptor or precepts? So I don't know which one you're looking. So I'm gonna try to see that before we move forward to the next part of it. So that's what you're trying to find. I just need a yes or no, and that's Higgins. So I don't know, because I don't know if he spelled it. He could just did a misspelling, maybe. And I'm trying to see there. Yes. Okay. Well, technically, you're not going to find preceptor in there. You will find precept in the Bible, and it's actually all through Scripture. Preceptor is the functioning of precepts. So that's all that's saying. So that's why we put preceptor, meaning what? You functioning based on precepts. That's all it means. Nothing more. Yeah. Same thing. So that's what the preceptor is. Yeah, and actually, thank you. You corrected me because it's actually with an OR. So yeah, that's correct. So yeah, but that's what that's doing. So preceptor is nothing but the functioning word in the functioning of precepts, meaning what? Everything you're gonna do, you're gonna function based on precepts. That's all that preceptor is saying. That's what that said. So that's why I actually have it that way. So preceptor is you're gonna function strictly on precepts. That's all it means. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, is precepts in the Bible? We can find it all through the Bible. Is preceptor in the Bible? No, it's not. But preceptor, in meaning what? We just going to function just on nothing but precepts. So if we're going to function on nothing but precepts, I have to stay to the Bible to make sure that I'm doing everything through the Bible. So that's all I'm doing. So yeah, but good question though. Good question. And hopefully if that answered it, and hopefully Higgins, hopefully that answered your question. And we want to look at the other one. We want to actually, let me put this back up. And we're going to look at it a little bit more. We're going to go through some more because we have a little bit more that I want to make sure that we're clear on. So I want to make sure this is done. And what we want to do, and let me pull this up. So we want to put this, behold, and we want to figure out what this means. So we're going to put behold, and we're going to put that equals remember, or it also means understand. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put in some Bible verses. We're going to put in Genesis 1:29. Actually, I have 4:14, so I can take that one out. We have, it says, the Bible says precept must be upon precept. Is the word precept associated with precepts upon precept? Okay, so again, now you're starting to get kind of silly with it. So again, as I said, preceptor is associated with just precepting, just making sure you stay with it. When you start sitting there saying, so is the word preceptor associated with precepts? It's completely is what I explained. Let me see. Hold one quick second. Yeah, so yeah, preceptor is the function. Yeah, with the so the same thing is Higgins, I don't know if he's trying to be and also you say you have a thing called a preceptor, right? Yeah, I think he's more just a person just being actually more silly about it. So what we do, we take care of that. And Yeah, because we don't need nobody sitting there. Let me see 1 second. And take care of that because he's more of a seem like a person just trying to sit there and start a bunch of more silliness. So it's easy to take care of that. So the main thing is when we go through here to understand and to make sure. Let me see. We got 4:14. We have 6:17. And we're going to use Psalms. We might have to go to another line. 27 in verse 4. Actually, then we got 119, 37, and we got 40, and we got Zechariah 14:1. So we have those there. So this is what we need to remember right there. Those are part of what we got to go through. So now we need to understand a little bit more on what's going on. Meaning what? We have to understand in one is asking Matthew 24:25, would the scripture be the same as remember and understand? Let's look at that before we put the rest in because we're going to move to another part in the same verse. So let's see what she's asking here and try to get that. So let me pull this up. 1 second. We're going to go there. We're going to look at it. We're going to go to Matthew 24:25 and make sure that this is it. Because the only reason I'm doing that, because I do know this can be kind of confusing. And that's why I want to make sure we're all on the same page. 24:25. And let's go there. And it says, behold, I have told you before. So my sister, all you gotta do is think about what you just put there. And so it says, remember. And actually this uses the same thing, just hold on to behold, but it's just saying, remember, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they say unto you, remember, he is in the desert, go not forth. Remember, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. You see what's going on. So you can even use understand. So understand, he is in the secret chambers? No. So you just hold right there. Remember, it's telling you exactly what's going on. So yeah. So Sister Turner, you can understand exactly what it's saying right there. So it's letting you know, remember. So the same thing, Old Testament, New Testament, doesn't matter. It's going to mean the same thing, no matter where you go. And we got Shalom Leviticus 20. I don't understand it as well as the Most High talking in the spirit or fleshly. So let's look at one more, because I'm trying to get to one other one, but I don't want them to be lost on this at all. We're gonna go to Leviticus and we're gonna look at 15:2. 15:2. It says, speaking to the children of Israel, saying to them, when any man run an issue out of his flesh because of the issue of unclean, and this shall be the uncleanness, whether it run in the issue. Okay, so right now you talking about something that don't have nothing to do with what we're talking about. So again, I thought you was running something else, which I thought was there, but that's not pertaining to what we're doing. So again, do not ask questions that's not pertaining to the lesson. That's why we hold it over here. So if you want to ask something that's outside of it, I'm pretty much you're not going to get an answer. So that's what we hold to. So that's something we don't just change the narrative as we go. So now we're going to look at another part. And as it goes on, it says, remember, thou art called a Jew. Now we know what this is actually saying more than what it's been speaking of. Now it's saying, thou art called a Jew. Why? And rested in the law. rested in the law. So we have a lot of words here he's using, and we need to know what they mean. Now, this word here is another word as a functioning word. But what do that mean? Now, this is two problems. And I'm actually show, I can actually show it to you. Because one, you can look at this all day long, and most people can pull it up all day long. In this word there, you will not find. Why? Why you will not find it? Because it's not actually listed. They have it right here, but technically with an S, but it's not even showing you the full word because it's still missing the S in the middle. So this is retested and everything else, but that's not close to what we actually looking for is rest test, is rested. You're not going to find the word. Why? Because this is actually coming from a Hebrew word that they tried to flip over into Greek, so they actually didn't translate the word. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. But however, we're going to know what this word means, and this is why I said we need to look at it as its full thing and go through it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through, and I have, here we go. I have what it means, because what we have to remember what that means. And now we're going to look at this again. We're going to go over here we're going to go over to Romans. Let's go to Romans. In Romans, it's a lot of this that Paul did in this manner. Way more than what we really know. But we're going to go through it, and I promise you I will not let you be lost on it. So the main thing is this. It says, behold, thou art called a Jew and rested in the law. So what is this saying? And rested in the law. And this is telling you actually, this is not saying the same thing, but what this is telling you is what it's doing. But you remained. So all you got to do is remember, this is talking about remained in the law. It was just untranslated. Why they did this way, I don't know. But that what that mean. You remained in the law. Remained in the law. Let's see how this works. Let's see how it functions. And then we're going to see what it means. We're going to also write this down to where we can always remember it, what it's saying. So we're going to put that in our book to where we remember it. We're going to go to John. We're going to go to 5:45. And we're going to see some things there. In 5:45. And it says, do not think that I will cause you to, I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuseth you, even Moses, whom ye trusted. Why is he saying it in this manner? See, you accused, meaning what? Even Moses. Even Moses. Why are they using Moses? Because this is the more complex of the way on how to use it. Because Moses remained in the law. That's why it's using this. So we have to remember what this is saying, but we're going to watch what happens. And we're going to see the more two messages on how he's saying it. And it's a little bit more complex on what he did. That's why I want to kind of hone in on this, because we are called Jews and we remain in the law. So we know that. And then we'll use this one here. We use John 5:45. John 4:45. So that's what we have. And then you have so we have somebody have cease-sisted, and no, that's not what that's saying. Because even if you read it, it says, you are Jews, stopped in the law. And that's not what that's saying. That's actually a wrong translation. And you actually gonna see why more what this is saying. So we're gonna look at that also. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at why he's saying we remained in the law. Why is he saying it in that manner? Because we remained in the law, but what do? We doing what we love to do, and make it boast and make it thy boast of God. And this is what we do. We famous for doing this. We're gonna brag, because boast don't mean nothing but brag. So now we're gonna brag about the law. Meaning what? As we boast in it, and now in knoweth his will. So we boast about it. We brag about it. And approveth the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. Why? You are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness. So he's telling you, this is what we do, but most of us didn't want to go to certain people and do certain things because we're going to boast about the law, how well we know it. So these things we have to understand all the time when we're going through this, what we need to be doing all the time. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some of this here, and we can see here, even where we got this one here, which is another important part, which we got thou. And thou is speaking of you or your. And we're going to look at how this actually play out, and then we're going to end up going at it. But we're going to look at this, how you see this. And we're going to go to Matthew. We're going to look at Matthew, and we're going to go to 4:17. And it says, from the time Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. So we're looking at a comparison of something that's going down when you're looking at what? It's the message that was being given out from the beginning. That's what we was boasting about when we was doing later. This is what we was actually making the boast about. Because we're not doing everyone like that. We only speaking to, we doing what we want to do to the other people. This is why we have to watch what we're doing. So with that, I'm going to end it right there, and then we'll pick up the rest of it to where we'll go down through 18 and finish off. Well, 17, we got a couple more, but 18, we'll be able to finish it up and go through it and make sure that we can complete out everything. And let me save this to where we have it. Okay. So this is, so now what we want to do is now, do we have any comments or questions that anybody had that's still lingering? You got to use back in. This is done. Okay. In. Okay, Clark, you're on.
Yes. Could you give another example on rested?
Rested?
Yeah, because I know you said remain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and could you go into a little more details? Because I kind of got lost right there when you said remain with that verse
Okay.
on 5:45.
Okay, so 1 second. Let me pull this. Oh, 1 second. Let me get us back up real quick. And okay, so in now rested, what you're gonna actually find out, we can go here, and you can even some people gonna even look and do little searches and everything. But what they're gonna find out here is this word right here is the only time you're gonna ever find that word.
Right.
So one time. I can show you a few words that's in there that they will not translate. See, because that's one of them, and I'm gonna show you another one that I actually use when I have meetings with Jewish people, and I show you another one that actually is greatly done in, you go to Songs of Solomon 6:12. This word right here. Aminadab you only find in the Bible one time. Aminadab is actually a Hebrew word, but it's untranslated. That's an untranslated word. So since they're untranslated, and what most people do, they'll go after so-called Hebrew Bible, but they actually grabbing Yiddish Bibles, and same with a concordance, they actually don't give you the translation of those words. But if you actually go through a real Hebrew Bible, you can actually get the translation of the actual word. But now what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at where you want to understand which I told you what that means, remain, and we're gonna look at some to where you're gonna see the other way that it's around. So let's go over to Genesis. We're gonna go to chapter 7, and we're gonna look at 23. We have 23 that which we can use. Okay, so 7, it says, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the earth, of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping things and fowls of heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah, you see right here,
Mm-hmm.
all you gotta do is switch it around. You're gonna take the same identical thing.
All right.
It's gonna give you the identical same thing, because it's giving you an identical word of what it's actually saying. The only part that I hate on that is that resisted is retested is still saying the same thing, but they untranslated it. Why they do that?
Oh,
And they did that on quite a few words, and they just never translated it. But now we're gonna see another one. Let's go to Exodus 8:11. And we're gonna see the same thing going. It says, and the frog shall depart from thee and from thy house, from thy servant and from the people, and they shall resist in the rivers only. So it's saying they should remain in the rivers, saying the same thing.
oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay.
So you can flip that word around and use that word all through the Bible. But the only thing is why over here they use it here, and we do know Paul was a writer of his own book, and why Paul chose to use that word, I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he chose to use it, and he used it. And actually, most people, they're going there and they actually don't know what it means. But when you look at it and you see what he's saying, so it's saying, but thou art a Jew. So he's letting you know, and remained in the law. So he's saying, so you just remain under God's law,
Oh, okay.
and maketh thy boast of God. So now you make it a boast of it, that hey, I'm a super Jew.
Right. Because looking at it as he was retesting in the, so I was looking at that word wrong. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Now watch how you seen it. Now
Mhm.
watch what he's saying. We're gonna go a couple of more verses, but we're gonna come back next week and we're gonna put all the precepts in there.
Okay.
Okay, so he's saying, so he make a boast, but thou make it thy boast of God. So now he's saying what? We are called, behold. He's saying, so remember. See, that's what you got to remember. So you remove behold. You want to look at the function.
Mhm.
So remember, you are called a Jew. You called a Jew. He
Mhm.
said salvation is of the Jews, don't he?
Right.
Now watch this. And remained in the law. So you remained in the law.
Mhm.
And not only that, and make boast of God. So now you know the law. You know how to operate within the structures of the law.
Mhm.
You got everything. But watch this. And knoweth, again, add some more to you, because he's putting some more weight on you. And knoweth his will. So you already know what his will is. But what you doing? You boasting about it.
About it, bragging about it.
You telling them other ones, them heathen, or you telling them Gentiles that actually were Jews, and acting like Gentiles, you sitting there talking about them. And watch this, and approve of the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law, and are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of foolish and teachers of babes.
Mhm.
So who is he talking to?
Us.
Talking to us, and us right here as a whole, who are they?
Jew.
And they was Pharisees.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
I used that word the wrong way.
Yeah. Now it's saying an instructor of the foolish,
Mhm.
teacher of babes, which have a form, which has the form, is right there's your key. The form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. That's your key.
Right. Okay.
So now this is the dangerous part on how he plays this. When you look up here, we remain in the law. So it's saying clearly what he's saying. He's not denying these ones he's dealing with right here.
Mhm.
You know the law and remained in the law. He ain't denying that. But what do? Now we sitting there saying, so now people come, is it cool to do this on this day? Yeah, you can do this, but don't do this way.
Right.
Adding to the law.
Picking and choosing.
Yeah. Is it okay if what if my mom made some pork loin and and she died, and then she died afterwards? So can we eat that for her last thing in memory of her? Yeah, that's okay because she died. But even though that, you see what I'm saying? We're gonna make an excuse.
Right.
That's what.
Mm.
That's all he's saying. That's all.
Yeah, and you know what? And I can truly say, because once you get the fully understanding of the word or what that word means, then you can understand what it's saying.
Yeah.
Because I totally looked at that word as retested. I looked at it the wrong way.
No, yeah, just remain. You remained in the law.
Mhm.
But what we started doing,
Right.
we started being Pharisees and we started adding to it.
Right.
But as we go down through it, then we would have got that full understanding on how he did it.
Okay.
So that's all.
Mhm.
Good, or we need to go any?
Oh, I'm good on it. I understand now.
Okay. All righty. And we have Brother Daryl. Brother Daryl? Brother Daryl?
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have audio on you though. Hold on a second.
Okay, yeah, because I can hear you.
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, okay, I couldn't hear back. I
Okay.
had a Bluetooth speaker on. Hey, I got a question. I ordered the Book of Romans from Lulu, and they sent me the file.
Yeah, you did the digital?
I ordered it and it downloaded. It sent a it sent a file to my computer at work, and I downloaded on a memory stick. But it's like PDF or something.
Yeah, that's the digital version.
That's the digital.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I use that? Once I get a computer, can I use that the same way you're using on your screen?
Yeah, no, that one is not. But you can do it this way. Send me an email. The version that I have is we'll be sending out, and we do those through the Cash App. But you send me an email, and what I do, since you already paid for it, I can send you the version that I have.
Okay, that's gonna make it a whole lot easier because the one
Yeah.
I have to print everything and okay.
Yeah, and then what I also do, I leave all my notes and everything in there.
Okay, so I just send you email tomorrow at work.
Yeah, just send me an email, then I send you that one.
Okay, and I'm about to send off that Cash App so I can get that other stuff we talked about.
Okay, Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah.
All
so-
right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so okay, we have Sister Johnson. Okay, Sister Johnson.
Yes, Elder. I just want to say I appreciate the teaching today. I was at the beginning of it when we were talking about the Gentiles accusing and excusing, doing things, lying on us, and then excusing themselves. Is just where I am right now on my job. So
Yeah.
I just appreciate the word. My job sometimes gets very difficult. I'm the only Israelite, woman
Mhm.
in working in an operating room, and sometimes I just feel singled out.
Yeah, and most time they're gonna always single you out. But as you see, the Bible fulfills itself, and it shows it. They're gonna accuse you. That's the same thing. You can make an honest mistake in there, and they'll look at it like you did something on purpose. But then they can make a giant mistake, and they're gonna make it that look like it was an accident.
Yes, sir. And that's the thing is they do it without even having a cause. It just depends on what mood they in for the day, or how much they want to. I think about it as almost just being taken, or them just having their way with you.
Mm-hmm.
Come in and for the day and have their way with you, and when they get done, they just go on about their business and never taking into consideration, from a just from a person to a person. So I really do appreciate the word today. It's giving me strength and courage, and just to stay focused on the end result of the matter. And I really do see why God shows no respect to person in that wise, because whether the heathens are being heathens, or whether we as Israelites are acting like they are, when he judges, it's all the same,
Mm-hmm.
because we're outside of him. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the word, the teaching today.
All right, no problem, my sister. I appreciate you. Yeah. Just just stay focused. And a lot of times you got to remember, you're not dealing with that flesh. You're dealing with a spirit that's within the flesh.
Right.
So a lot of us gonna always go through it, and you're gonna always have a lot of issues, especially with them, because the main thing is most times they'll tell you they're not threatened by you, but they are threatened by you, and
Right.
you can see that in everything that we do. Based on running, I'm talking about this, from running companies to shooting marbles. I don't care what it is, whatever, pretty much you put us to it. And that's why I say, we even have guys who taken the wrong road, and they even sell drugs, but some of your most powerful drug dealers and became billionaires in that arena, which they even announced it now. They was running billion-dollar companies and wasn't having no paper trails nowhere.
Right. Right.
Running successful business, even though it was all illegal, and doing it for the wrong reasons. But the thing is, we put our mind to something and we really do it, we can achieve many things. And all we have to do is change our mind to do good. And we can do a lot of stuff to do good, and not just doing good, but we want to do good to God. And if we do good to God, we can operate within the same forms in doing it in the world. Because if we operating under God, we're going to still fall the same thing as I said. If Caesar's saying we have to give him this, you give him that if that's what's due to him. But that don't change from what you got to give to God. And God's sitting there saying, okay, hey, you got to present your body as a living sacrifice. That don't change that.
Hmm.
So you present that body as a living sacrifice to him, and what he does. So now people sit there saying, well, I don't want to work per se on the Sabbath day. Now keep this in mind. Many people have to work on the Sabbath day, and some people won't even work on the Sabbath day and lose their jobs behind that. But keep this in mind, and this is the way you see how God works. So you making yourself a personal sacrifice to God, correct or not correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now if he's resting in you and he knows your heart and you want to rest on the Sabbath day, as he said, now your boss telling you going to come to work on Sabbath day. Who is he calling down there to his work of employment? Can you hear me?
What did you say again, Elder? You went out.
So if he's calling you in there to work on the Sabbath day, who is he calling to his work of establishment?
If he is calling me into work,
Yeah.
my boss or God, would you say?
No, he's calling you into work. To come to work on the Sabbath day, who is he calling into work?
God doesn't call me to work in on the Sabbath day.
Okay, no, you missed the whole point. See, that's
Yes, I did.
so here, let me do it because I think you're outside and I hear a lot of so I'm gonna mute you while you're doing that. Okay, so what happens is this. If they saying, okay, no matter what, you have to work on the Sabbath day. Now, and you being the child of God, and the Spirit of God resting in you, when they call you into work, they calling him in. Now his spirit is there, and now they're gonna deal with his spirit. However he's gonna do it is what he's gonna do. So either he's gonna cause things to happen a certain way, but once he said it, pretty much how they do on TV, you said it and forget it. He's gonna set up something to where either it's gonna work out 300% in your favor, and every time that they do something, something's gonna happen differently, to where he'll put you in the position to where, guess what? You'll get that weekend off. I guarantee you that. And that's without being said. So the same thing is he sit there and people sit there as well. I got to go in. No, you really truly put your heart towards God, and they calling you in. See, because what they trying to do now is put God under bondage. And if he's in you, you ain't trying to put him in bondage. That's the wrong one to be put in bondage. That's why he says, if you mess with one of my little ones, it's better you tie a soapstone around your neck and throw yourself in the deeper part of the sea, because that's the best thing they should have did. That's just zero-sum game. So just keep that in mind. Okay, we got Sister Cole and we got LG. These are the last two I'm gonna take, because after that I do have to come off.
Shalom, shalom, Elder. I real quick, I just want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, shalom, shalom, Elder.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to offer that sister some encouragement, because I too work in an arena where I am the only Israelite. And recently, I had an experience with one of the, for lack of a better way of saying it, one of the heathens, and he was trying to bait me. And I have a code that I operate by, my own internal code. I don't give a good hoot and a holler who you are. I do not get upset.
Mm-hmm.
I do not let what you say to me make me upset. And I mean, this man was trying to tell me I was confused, and how he had kept telling me the same thing for the last 4 weeks, and how he didn't understand why I didn't comprehend. And he was just going in, trying to go in. And I just stay calm. And I was just like, well, you know what, sir? Now, I know he's a bastard. Sir, help me to understand what exactly you want me to do. Response: oh, Stacy, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You can do it any way you want to do it. However, my concern is that you appear to be confused.
Mm-hmm.
My response: okay, I just need to know, if there are 3 different sources, which source do you want me to choose from? Or if there's 3 different priorities, which one do you think is priority? Now he gets quiet. Now he really starting to think, because he's like, okay, how do I get her agitated once again? So then he comes back and says, well, you know, once again, we've talked about this, and I think that you're becoming angry. Buzzword.
Yeah.
No, I'm not angry. No, and I never respond in an affirmative or a negative. I just move on. And I was like, well, I don't really see it as being angry. I just see it more as trying to gain a better understanding of what it is that you are looking for. And so I really enjoy these question and answer sessions because I think that's the best way to avoid conflict.
Yeah.
He really confused because he really don't understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm not the angry Black woman that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And by saying all of that, and by saying what you were saying to using that example as if you have to work on the Sabbath, who he's calling in. The way I code myself, I'm not representing Stacy. I'm representing my inner self, my inner most high. So I have to always work from the inside out.
Yep.
And then in a tough situation, if you keep doing that, you will get some help. And I tell you what, I used to remain quiet because I didn't understand. And I realize now that by remaining quiet and not responding is kind of like acquiescence, and you're agreeing to everything that they want you to do, how they want you to behave. Mm-hmm. So now I start asking questions, and I make sure I include everybody who thinks they have some type of authority in whatever position that they have. So when it comes down to it, nobody can say that Stacy did not raise her hand, because that's what they do try also. If you don't speak up in a professional and a rational way, they will say you never said anything. You didn't say that you needed help. Really?
Yeah. So yeah, let me take this other sister.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. But then also to let people know, and that's something that, and then I'm gonna let this I got LG, but just to make this real quick, is to anytime they try to make a comment towards you or anything, especially by email, the most important thing to do, always respond to them, because if not, they're going to hold that as a truth. They'll hold that against you as a truth, because they can sit there and say that you was being very disrespectful, whatever, this and that. And some people say, well, I'm just going to leave that alone because I know I'm not like that. No, you don't leave that like that. What you do is sit there and you send them back an email. You reply to it, especially if you're in the work employment arena. Sit there and you reply to an email. Say, no, I did not act in any unprofessional way. Either you misunderstood what was said based on your disrespectful ways or whatever, but you're gonna let them know that you didn't do that. Why? Because now you're responding back to them. But if you don't respond to them, what you're doing, you're putting yourself in deeper water. Why? Because when you put yourself in deeper water, you didn't respond, and they will hold that against you, because the first thing they'll do is say, they can sit there and say whatever they wanted to say about you. And then as soon as you didn't respond, the first thing they'll say is, why you didn't respond to the email? And you kind of stuck. Well, I just didn't want to go. Okay, so they made this negative statement about you, but you didn't say anything. Why you didn't say anything? You were commenting back and forth here, but when they said this, you stopped commenting. Always comment back. And we have an LG Style 4. I don't know who you are, but you're in here. And you permit, yeah. Hello.
Shalom, Elder. It's Sister Gloria Sandy Ford.
Yeah, for some reason, I knew it was a woman. I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to get beat down by the women. Because every time I see just a phone name, I kind of know it's, well, I'm not going to say it because I know I still get beat down by the women later. So I'm going to leave that alone. Go ahead.
And my name is not coming up?
No, it come up. You got an LG Style 4 phone.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's what's showing.
Okay, so Elder, I'm not getting into the back of King James.
Yeah, you're not getting into the back. So,
no.
Now, did you register over there?
I registered, and I've changed my
One second. Let me check this real quick. Let me check this. And then I should have been gone a minute ago, but that's okay. Let me check this real quick. And Yeah, because right now what we're going to be doing, we're going to have some other law sessions that actually only going to be over there, and they're going to be going for about 30 minutes a day. But then if you don't, even if you miss the live one, they'll be recorded. They're not going to be on YouTube nowhere.
Okay.
So it's going to be real important to be over there. And actually, it's a lot of good information actually going to be over there. So let's see right here. And Gloria, the same name as my mother. Gee. Gloria, yeah, I see you right here. I'm looking dead at you.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
not getting in the back. I'm
Yeah.
getting there, but I'm just not getting in the back of King James.
1961, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I see you right here. Let me see. You in? I see the classes you in right now.
I'm not able to see any of the postings, the documents that you've posted. I've tried to check
Okay.
them out many times and so
Okay,
on.
let me see what we can do real quick. Let me see. So I'm gonna view your profile. Give me that. And I see I do not have that type of weight. I was gonna see it. Let me see. Wait a minute. Mike can. I'll get ready to say I can't make them change it. So what I'm getting ready to do right now. Okay, what is your username?
Gloria.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm forcing you. I'm sitting there saying thing right now. It's gonna force you to change your password.
Okay.
So let me put this in there. I'm gonna save it. And let me see 1 second. Okay. Let me go back in there. So it's forced to say the password. You should receive an email, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna actually put a password. Okay, I'm gonna put a password in there. And let me put because nobody know what the, let me see, that's it. And force to change. Bingo. So actually your password, let me see if I can send you a personal one. I'm trying to sit there and see real quick. Let me see if I can send you a personal thing. I'll tell you what, you go in there, when you go in there, oh yeah, so I didn't give you, you didn't give you email, so we're good. So what you do, you put in your username, all right?
Yeah.
Then you're gonna put in your password from 1 through 0. Okay?
1 through.
0.
Okay.
And then it's gonna force you to change it.
Okay.
And you should be good from that point.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, hold it. It's telling me something else. Wait a minute. There must be at least one. No, let me go back. Put in, I'm not gonna tell you your last name, but I'm gonna put your first letter of the name.
Uh-huh.
Wait a minute. It gotta be a lowercase and one uppercase. Okay, so I'm gonna use your uppercase first name, lowercase last name, and then I'm gonna put at, the at sign.
Okay.
Okay, so uppercase first name, lowercase last name, but this is your password, so you're just only gonna use the letters. Just
Okay.
one letter from your first name, the first letter, then the lowercase for your last name, and then the at sign, and 1 through 9. I mean 1 through 0. Yep.
Okay.
Went through, and you should be able to go right in.
Okay, so that would be the uppercase on my first name, the lowercase and my last. The @ and 130.
130. Yeah. And it should pull you right in. But it's gonna force you to change your name. It's gonna force you to change the password.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Elder.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So I appreciate everybody on how we went through. And so let me see, make sure. Have I followed? Yeah. So the same thing. Actually, I'm gonna have this. So in that I sent back to Brother Tony. So you'll see that there. Now the main thing is we're going to be picking up in the same thing. As I said, we have the new weekly scripture study that we have about 40. I believe we have about 40 available still here. They sent us 100, but we have about 40 left to where we can actually send out. Now we do have some people who actually paid for the year. So those that you don't have to worry about because you're just going to receive yours automatically. And I believe Brother Jackson and all of them, you're going to receive them automatically as well as a few other people. But then those are already accounted. And then we also have, I want to make another announcement that they told me to make because we have 2 people who actually are sent in for the 2 for the last one was $5. They chose not to send you the older one and you'll be receiving a new one. So those were one who, it was 2 people on there. I don't have to name them. They should know exactly who they are. And they paid a $5 deal. And what they did, since they did that and they sent it, and they decided not to send you those, and that was fine. And they actually sending you one of the new ones, which that's all. Then that's all you actually have to pay that because it's already paid. So that one there, and other than that, everybody else, if you want to order it through us, you can get it through us. It's $12, and the $12 is actually paying for the shipping and everything. So shipping is free, everything is done. Or if you would like to, you can order it through Lulu. And the same thing with the Precept communication app, which we had it up there, but we didn't have time because that word actually had us stuck for a minute, which I actually going to pull it up, but we had it there for a minute, but we couldn't go into it because of the word, but it was sitting right there to where I was going to go through this to where we can go through and actually pinpoint everything there. But since we really got, caught up with that, what we was trying to do, I couldn't really go over there to it to actually pull that up. So that's okay. And next time we'll actually be able to go through some of that. But lo and behold, it is there, and we have all the verses there to actually put in there, and they're already there. So until Wednesday, we will be going through that, but we are kicking up where we're going to be going through on a daily basis in the back of the school, where we're going to actually have it to where we will be going through law sessions, to where the law sessions, to where we'll be going through 1 and 2 verses every day. And you can write down the verses, but basically they're going to be set up in a webinar more format where it's not really so much of a question and answer. You can actually send me emails back there later, but we're actually going to be doing little teachings to where it'll be going over those verses and giving you the better understanding of those verses all through there. And that'll be going through the law sessions, going through all the stuff in the Apocrypha, as well as going through the everything in the on the New Testament. And the documents actually going to be sitting in there. So there'll be documents in there to which you can download for your daily reading and everything to help you be abreast upon everything that's going. So that's something that's going through there, as well as in 3 weeks, I believe 3 weeks, because I do have that. They actually will be having out where you can actually get the Friends template, which the Friends template, which I told you, that's what he was pushing for. And actually that was Dr. Shaul doing, but mainly what they're going to do, they're going to have a template, which is going to come out where you can actually get the template to actually do your shirts and your garments and everything, to where you can French your own garment. And actually that template is going to be free. And what's going to happen is you can actually send it in, and those templates will be able to where you can set out. And I believe each template, I think you do 3 or 4 shirts a piece. I think that's how they actually got it set up. but don't take my word for it. But you will be able to do a couple of shirts. So what'll happen is basically what you'll do, you on the shipping and handling of it, you'll still pay that, which is I think that shouldn't be no more than about $3.50. And then they're going to send you quite a few templates to where you can do that. And then and you can do all your own shirts and everything else, which I believe they also have the cutters, which you can actually get to where you can actually put the ones in your shirts as well as the cords. I got to see how they do on the cords, but I do know the French template is actually going to be to you free, so you won't have to pay for that, and that's free to everyone. And mainly, all you have to do is you'll be able to send that in to Precept Mastery, and they will just be sending those out. So that'll be on an ongoing basis. So that's all that is. But the main thing is, it's free to where you guys can actually have them free, to where you can actually do your shirts and your garments based on the same way that you do it, the same way that like you see people where I wear regular shirts like this, but my undergarment right there, it is fringed out. That's what we do, and it actually has everything that's correct. That's what we need to be doing, and that's how it is. So it's not what people need to see on the outside, but it's what you are on the inside, and making sure that you adhere to the Most High God and what He has directed you to do. So that's why we're doing it, but those are there. So just give them, I know in about 3 weeks that will be available, but I do know the shipping and handling, I don't think it's no more than $3.50 for them to send you the templates. And then the main thing is, I do know if some people want to order extra ones, I have to find out how they want to work that. But I do know you're going to get about 2 or 3 templates, I know, for each time. So if you want to order more, I'm gonna try to find some of that out for you to where I can get back to you and I can let you know. Other than that, they're free. And more material and supplies, please. Okay, you need to purchase more material and supplies. So yeah, so the main thing is most of the supplies and materials and stuff, if you need to get those, what they're going to do, they're going to have them online. Most of it you can actually get from Lulu, because we actually contracted with Lulu, and we can have with Lulu in some things that you can actually get from us through Precept Mastery. So most times, if you need to get majority of the books, I got to see what books they still can get here. Majority of the books you can get through us where you actually don't pay for shipping, and that's how they're trying to make it. But the main thing that I do know, they do have that for the weekly Israelite weekly scripture reading. That one is set up, and they're trying to do the other ones. We do have the other communication tool, which you can get the communication tool, or you can get the book itself. The book itself is $20, and that one you can get digitally through the Cash App. So if you want to go through the Cash App, you send it, and we'll actually send you a digital copy on how this is actually structured out. And actually, I'll show this again to where we understand everything was going on. So most people don't understand actually how this is structured out and how most times I'm able to break this down. Is I have the book that's out there to where it'll show you actually how to break this down, and it explains to you why you structure words a certain way. So we have the book there. I'm actually seeing if I can pull the book up to sit there to see. Actually, I do have it there. So I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna pull that up to show you the book and this is, let me see. I need to get this Zoom, and let me just get it to fit. Actually, no, I want it just to fit a certain way. Actual size, yeah, way better. So let me show you. The book is basically, I forgot, it's 40-something pages, I believe. So let me go back to it, and then. So basically, and this is the book, which this is actually inside the book, but basically it lets you know that Precept Written Communication Workbook and used with the language structural guidance. So it lets you know that I wrote the book and all that stuff. But basically what I'm doing, I'm showing you with this. So you need to read this that goes into this preception of written scripture. Why? Because you need to understand the logic that's behind how the wording is structured out. That you need to read. It's only 2 pages, but you need to read that. The reason why, it shows you how to structure everything out. And then the lesson shows you, in each of the lessons, it shows this, but don't worry about as you try to structure the lessons out, either on paper or you're going to be using the application. Because once you get that done, it's going to show you the breakdown. So it's going to show you the answers to these lessons, and it's going to show you the breakdowns to them and how they was breaking down. And then you can put that against what you've done to see how well you're done. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. So you see this, and the answers is to all of them, show you how to break them down. So that's on the book. If you want to get the book is $20. And some people might can't afford to get the application. You get the book, and you can actually write out the scriptures, and you can still do the same thing. So you'll just be writing them out on different levels. So you can do the same thing. So you just sit there. You can send that in to Precept Mastery at the address, or you can cash app it to Precept Mastery, and then just put you want the preceptional written workbook, and we can actually send that out to you. So with that, I believe that was everything that they wanted, and I have to actually go. So with that, I appreciate everyone who joined us, and that we continue to go through and understand what was going on. So until this Wednesday, we'll meet up again, and I'm talking about this this next 2 months with the Israelite weekly scripture read. I'm telling you, it's really good, and because this here has, and the reason I think is more, not pumping anything, but the reason I think is more to where even people with the book or without the book, the reason I think it's going to be more important because of this offering. We got to understand what offering means. That's the key. And this is focused on that only. That's the good part. So it's going to help you out a great deal. And let me see, we have one more in Elder Johnson. I've been trying to get my preceptor updated to get a copy of the book. However, I haven't been successful in reaching anyone. Yeah, because Lulu and all of them don't have nothing to do with it. We made sure of that because Lulu and them, it was a whole different price structure. So it's easier. If you want to get the update, everything else, you can actually go to KJBU and go into the resources, and you see right there where you can do everything. It'll show you everything you need to do right there. So if you go to KJBU, you go to the resources, it'll show you what you can do automatically. And is the registration closed for KJBU? No, it's not. KJBU is open to where you can actually register. And so with that, I think we got everything else done. So with that, I appreciate everybody. And until this Wednesday, I will say to everybody, hey, shalom.